Hey everybody, this is a little video vlog I'm doing because I'm bored tonight and I decided to catch up on video stuff because I haven't done it in so long. I'm going to be quiet for just a second and I want you guys to listen and see if you can hear the rain. Okay, did you hear that rain? Even if you didn't, I've got my camera sitting on a windowsill right now. And outside the window are the remnants of Hurricane Patricia as they're making their way up the Texas Gulf Coast. And I know there's been just some horrific flooding in other parts of Texas, but now we're getting it. And they're describing this as a major weather event, and they're predicting that there's going to be flooding in the Houston area. How bad, I don't know. I've watched a forecast earlier and they said we just have to watch it tonight and see what happens tonight, but whatever is going to happen bad is going to happen overnight and in the morning. So it's just kind of wait and see. So there's that kind of anticipation what's going to happen. But it started raining late this morning and it rained all day long. It rained all afternoon. It's been raining this evening. It's getting late tonight now, so it's going to rain all night, overnight, and it's going to rain in the morning. And it's probably not going to slack off until later in the day tomorrow. And it's not been a torrential thunderstorm downpour, but it has been a steady rainfall for hours and hours and hours. And where I live, I know I've probably mentioned in a previous vlog, I'm not concerned about my house flooding or having to evacuate because we're on pretty high ground and it would take more than this to really flood us out. But streets flood in this area, which, you know, streets will get impassable, so people will get trapped in their neighborhood. And I mean, you gotta walk out because when the streets start getting flooded over, the town where I live, the city department starts blocking off streets so that people in pickup trucks can't drive like fools up and down the roads, pushing water up into yards and potentially into people's houses. So as soon as the roads start flooding, they get shut down and barricaded. Well, I mean, which is fine because I was on my own, home alone this weekend anyway. It's the time of year for the Texas Renaissance Festival, and my husband has been working there for the past few years, and he's working again this year. So weekends, October and November, he's gone. And my car is in the shop right now. There's a problem with the coolant system. It was overheating and the mechanic thinks there's a coolant leak and he's trying to track down the leak so that they can fix it and my car won't overheat on me while I'm trying to drive it. So I knew I was going to be stuck at home alone all weekend and prepared for that. We went to the store. I got plenty to eat, plenty to drink. I got books to read. I got a ton of stuff on my DVR that I need to watch. I got puzzle books. I like crosswords and stuff. I got video games I can play. I got music I can listen to. I got arts and crafts to work on. I've got a knitting project I'm working on. I've got some jewelry projects I'm working on. I've got to work on some pocket letters that I need to get done this week. And I've got plenty to do. It's just the weather is so gloomy and so rainy. It's just got me down and bored and just feeling blah. And I was hoping my friend would come over after work tonight and just visit for a little bit. I'd bribe him. I'll cook for you just so that way I'm not completely isolated for the whole day. But I mean, he gets off late and it's raining bad and the neighborhood he lives in, some of the streets flood pretty bad. So I'm not really expecting him to come by tonight and I won't be mad if he doesn't. And tomorrow, we were supposed to get together tomorrow for a while. He was going to come over and watch a movie with me. I was going to make us some chicken soup since it's going to be rainy. And we were going to sit on the couch and eat some chicken soup and watch a movie and just visit. But it'll just depend on what's going on tomorrow. If the streets are really bad, the street going into the street to come onto my street floods easy. There's streets in his neighborhood that flood easy, so we just both may stay in where we know it's nice and dry and warm. But my husband is probably going to be working tomorrow. The festival went on today as usual. They're northwest of town. Where we live is southeast of town. And they got rain, but since they're not as close to the coast, they're not quite as prone to flooding. He said today was a slow day, that it rained all day. It wasn't torrential downpour rains, but it was steady rain. Still, there were people out, and the show goes on, rain or shine. It has to be really extreme weather for them to call off the festival. And by extreme weather, I mean, you know, roads either have to be impassable due to ice or flooding. So as long as people can get on and off the site, they open. And I talked to him about an hour ago, and they haven't made a decision, you know, to shut down for tomorrow. Doubtfully that they will, but if they do, it'll probably come early in the morning, which is kind of bad because that's several more hours of rain. And I know where he's at, he's safe. You know, they're not really going to be expecting flash floods or devastating flooding there. And also, the booth that he runs has an apartment above stairs, so he's got accommodations and he's comfortable, and I don't have to worry about him trying to camp in the rain or sleep in his car or anything. He's got, you know, an apartment. So he's got all the amenities, so he's going to be high and dry and warm and safe and dry and, you know, fine. But my only worry is, show goes on tomorrow. It keeps raining. By the time he's ready to come home, streets are flooded and he has a hard time getting home because there are a lot of roads between here and there that are prone to high water. And I don't know, he may have to do some creative routing if it keeps raining and keeps flooding. And like I said, my worry is that he's there on the site until it's hard for him to make it home, and we'll just see what happens. But you know, he's safe now and I'm safe now, and it's just whether or not they're gonna have the festival or do a full day tomorrow, probably. But we'll find out in the morning what happens, and hopefully it's just a slow day tomorrow, and by the time he's ready to come home, the rain has slacked off and the roads have had a chance to drain some, and he has no trouble making it home because he works a 9-to-5 job. He's an insurance guy, and he has to work Monday, so he can't be stuck outside of town away from home Monday, and hopefully that'll work out. But let's see. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about my hair. I did my henna. I had it mixed up with the intention of doing it today because it's an hours-long process. I leave it on my hair 4 to 6 hours before I wash it out. But usually when my husband's out of town, I don't sleep at night. I just don't sleep well at night at home alone. Not where we live now. Not that it's a dangerous place. This is the safest place I've ever lived, but it's quiet. And I grew up in the city, and I lived in the middle of the city for so many years that I'm not used to quiet at night, and it's kind of disconcerting when I can't hear cars and people and things going on. This is like suburbia, and they, you know, stereotypically roll up the streets at sundown. You know, there's not much going on in my town after 10 p.m. besides the refinery, and this is not a late night town, and there's nothing really going on. I mean, so unless my neighbors are having a party, I don't hear people at night, and that bothers me. So I don't sleep well at night when I'm home alone, and I tend to stay up when I'm home alone at night. Well, last night he had to be up so early to leave early because of the weather. I decided to just do my henna last night so that I could wash it off when I got my shower this morning, and that way it was done. And when I took my nap after my hair dried, it would be done. And it did. It came out good. And I'm really happy at how it came out. It covered all the gray like I needed it to. And it got a good dark stain. I had neglected it for so long. I had so much regrowth. It had regrown out to about here because I hadn't colored it since March or April. So I was just getting sick of looking at the regrowth and the gray in the mirror, so I went ahead and colored it, and I'm happy. And it makes it really shiny and soft too when I henna it, so that's a bonus. But you can see the nice red, the henna I use, and the fact that I've been hennaing it so often. I've got, instead of having that bright orange kind of carrot red hair, I have like the mahogany red that you get from building up henna layers. And this is actually going to darken up here. This new dye is going to oxidize over a few days and really blend in well with my outgrowth. So I thought it was a pretty good success. The henna I use is, the website's called Henna for Hair, or hennaed.com, I think. They sell different varieties of henna, and it's body art quality henna, meaning it's just powdered henna leaf. There's nothing added to it. And what I learned when I started doing henna was different crops of henna, for you know, an easy way to understand it, have higher staining power than others. And they sell their henna based on different factors, you know, staining power being one of them. And I always use the highest staining power henna because it's guaranteed to cover your gray, for one. And for two, I'm going to get a really good dark stain on my regrowth that's going to blend in good with my length after it oxidizes in a couple days. So that's what I use. The one I use currently that they sell right now is called Rajasthani Twilight. And this is some strong staining henna. And it's a really beautiful mahogany, almost has burgundy or wine undertones to it. Those kind of purplish undertones. And that's what I like. So we will see how that oxidizes in a couple days. And I also did my nails, kind of a orange sparkly color for now for Halloween. And I did 2 coats. This is one of the liquid sand colors. First I did a coat from OPI, the James Bond Girls collection. It was called Jinx, J-I-N-X. And it's an orange red or red orange, however you want to look at it. I call it a tomato red with a lot of gold to it. But it was a little bit redder than I wanted, so I went over it with a second coat. I used the Zoya Pixie Dust in Beatrix. So, and I put 1 coat of the Jinx on. I didn't like it, so I put 1 good heavy coat of the Beatrix, and this is exactly what I wanted. A nice, bright, sparkly orange. And I'm going to keep this for at least a couple of days. It'll probably start shipping in a few days, and then I'll go ahead and do something else for Halloween. But that's what I've been up to, and stuck with it raining still. And I'm going to come back in a little bit and do a video. I got my Ipsy bag last week, and I want to do a video reviewing my Ipsy bag since I finally had a chance to try all the products. So I'm going to go ahead and fix myself some tea and watch the weather forecast, and then when I get a chance, I'm going to come back in here and do a video on my Ipsy bag. So hopefully we'll see you guys on the flip side. Bye.